guys, I just wanted to make a little talk about thoughts. Thoughts are so important, and we can learn to train ourselves to listen to certain thoughts and to not listen to other thoughts. But we do have to like slow down the momentum of our mind being in control, our egos being in control. So one of the things that occurs to me when I'm talking to people is how they jump to conclusions so easily. And they always want to jump to the worst conclusion. So I'm trying to think of an example here. Well, let's take any situation. And hopefully you can wrap your head around this. Otherwise, I can expand on it more if you call the Satori Show on Sundays at 6 p.m. Information is beneath this video. Then I can explore this more with you and go into better detail if I need to, you know, extrapolate on anything. So basically, you are here. And there's an end result that's favorable over here, and then there's an end result that you're dreading over here. So there's all this space in between, right? And there's going to be all this stimulus that happens all along the way. You can either be in, and you can choose to be in whatever frame of mind you want to be all along the way to either of those destinations, right? So let's say, okay, let's say that you've done something that you might get in big trouble for, okay? And you're like dreading having to face that moment. Maybe you'll be thrown in jail. Maybe, I'm trying to think of like the worst thing that could happen, you know. So, all right. So the dreaded end result, you go to jail or something really bad. And then this one would be like nobody even noticed or even cared or anything like that, right? And you don't know which way that's going to go. So let's just say on the route to getting to the desire that you want, the path there is either going to be heaven or hell or somewhere in between. But it's completely up to you. It's not up to your circumstances. The way that you take things and what you decide to believe and what you think may be a placebo, but if it keeps you in a positive state, it's actually bringing you more likely to the end result that you want. Okay? So surrendering, being in the moment, or having eager anticipation of a good result is so much more powerful to get you to the end result that you want because of vibration. If you are, like, let's just say you're going to have the good result anyway. You don't know this, but you're going to have the good result. But you're fretting the entire way. So let's say that fretting lasts 2 years before the good result happens. You've just wasted 2 years of your life going through all that fret and anxiety and stress and whatever else you put yourself through in that time, just because you decided to believe that it wasn't going to happen. You know, and the universe was trying to sneak it up on you like the whole time. And you really tried to raise your vibration, and then you would lower. Then you'd really try, and then you'd lower. And you'd really try. And all that the little tryings in there were, you know, bringing you to the end result that you wanted. Maybe it prolonged it from, you know, would have happened in 3 to 6 months, and now it's going to happen in 2 years because you keep doing this, right? So you don't actually know if it's going to be the good or the bad result. But stressing about it in the meantime is only putting bad vibrations out there. I know you know that. But trying to live in a surrendered state is a whole other thing, other than it's like you can think positive thoughts, but really there's something profound that happens when you just don't even entertain the negative thoughts, when you don't even like let them even come into your consciousness at all, where you're just, or if they do, you just quickly correct yourself to a better thought or an affirmation. You could even just use one key affirmation. I am so completely loved and supported in all ways and always, for example. So you could choose that, and then every time you have a negative thought, you just correct until no longer do you grab onto those negative worrisome thoughts. We think that by going to the negative worrisome thought, we're actually going to somehow grab hold of the reins and make it not happen by worrying, fretting, and controlling the situation. And that is actually the opposite of what will happen. Controlling only stresses you out. And it's really a trick of the ego. Surrender and letting it just move through your body, letting stress and anxiety just move through your body and letting it be what it is and not attaching to it and just being like, here it is. Wow, look at this. Whoosh. You know, I just got caught up in a whirlwind, but then just kind of like separating from it or observing it rather than being it is a whole different experience. And the more you practice doing that, the more you practice this letting go thing, and you're able to, you don't get rocked. You don't get rocked and set off center. And so you actually increase your chances by letting go. And I know that is a very hard thing to do, and it's a very hard reaching thing for some people. Like, what do you mean just let it go and it'll happen, you know, for the end result, the best end result? How is that possible? Everything is vibration, you guys. Everything is vibration. So either you need to stay in a state of either surrender or neutrality or eager anticipation for things to work out the way that you would want, optimally. Otherwise, you'll even get the thing that you want, and then you'll be like, okay, well, what's the next thing to drop? What's the next shoe to drop? And you're always looking for that, and you'll just never be happy. You'll just be constantly looking for the next thing to go wrong. Also, I talked to a feminine yesterday who said something to the effect of, well, he better be clean, you know, because I'm a clean freak, and I would freak out if he, you know, wasn't as clean as I am. And I was just like, are you serious right now? Like, what? You know? And so we talked about, I said, you do realize that that's your issue, right? That wouldn't be his issue. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I like things clean, you know? And I said, yeah, but you're the one with that issue. You're the one with the preference of things being super clean in order for you to feel okay. So learning to be happy despite circumstances by training your thoughts in this way that I'm talking about, it frees you. You can be in a total mess, or you can be in a really clean environment. You can have a day where things are real clean and a day when it's not. And you're perfectly happy and giddy and silly and having fun and enjoying yourself any way that it goes. You could be in a hut or a castle. You could be traveling around the world, or you could be in the ghetto, and it doesn't matter. People could be screaming through thin walls to the point you can't hardly hear yourself think, or you could be in a park listening to birds and meditation. But learn to navigate life in such a way that you can let go of particularities, you know, of things having to be a particular way for you to feel okay. Learn to ride the bumps smoother by just letting go and surrendering and going with the flow. And don't pick on other people. Let people do what they do. Let them be how they are. You know, like, if you live with someone, don't sit there and start telling them things about what they need to change about themselves or recommendations you have for them to have a better life. They obviously enjoy their life how it is. They don't need to be told that they should watch TV at a certain time or not a certain time, or at a certain volume and not at a certain volume. I mean, sure, you can let them know, hey, I heard that you'll blow your ears out by age 31 if you listen to things at level 10 or higher. You could shoot out a fact like that. But the fact of the matter is, if they don't take that to heart and they don't care, let them go deaf. You can't control people to try to make you happy. All you can do is try to let go to make yourself happy. And if you are a clean freak and you need things cleaned all the time, then you'll find a lot of satisfaction running around picking up his socks and dirty laundry all over the place. If that's what you're about. If you know, you can have conversations with this person and let them know how it makes you feel when they leave a mess for you to clean up. Or you can, you know, just try to work together as a team on some things, compromise, but you know, picking on the person or expecting them to be according to your standards is only going to make you miserable, and you're gonna push your true love away. And that's like, it's like cleanliness, your ideal partner. You know, it should be easier to talk to them about these things, and they're supposed to trigger you. So this same feminine who said that, she's just like, well, everything will go well when we're together, right? And I was like, no. She said, well, that's what this is all about, right? Finding that person that everything will go great with. And I said, no, 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 no. In fact, expect it to be hell. Expect it to be hard. Expect things to go wrong. Expect you guys to have disagreements and arguments and everything just like anybody else. That way, when things go smoother, you'll be pleasantly surprised. You don't want to set yourself up like that, sitting there thinking that, you know, looking for any little blemish or any little reason to run. Then you're acting like the masculine. Yeah. The masculines have been like standing back for a while, being all skeptical. You know, you don't want to go being like that. So whatever tool you need to use, I've got, you know, if you go to amysatori.com/resources, you can take a look at some of those things. There are tons of different ways to learn how to let go. But, you know, as we're evolving on this planet and becoming unconditionally loving people, number one, it starts with loving ourselves. It starts with not being so hard on yourself. Not being so hard, not being so critical about your own cleanliness and your own, like, allow yourself to leave a mess out sometimes. Allow yourself to not make the bed sometimes, you know? Things like that. Whatever you're particular about. And then it expands into the people closest to you. Then it expands to people who've done you wrong, and strangers, and the whole rest of the world. But it starts with mastery over ourselves and learning to love ourselves unconditionally. So start there, and then you'll be less critical of your partner and less critical of everybody else. And honestly, when you're being, you know, upset about other people like that, it just means that you are thinking the same thing of yourself. So, I mean, honestly, it's like when you look at her situation, for example, she is yelling at him. She wants to yell at him, hey, you better be clean or I'm going to be miserable, right? Couldn't you say if she looked in the mirror, she could be saying that to herself? Very much so, yes. You know, so that's really what it's about, is we're running around projecting all this stuff on people. So anyway, my little 2 cents worth on thoughts. Don't let your thoughts get away with you. Sarina Sargadatta Maharaj said, and in the book I Am That, make straight your hooks so no one can hook you, and don't be so lazy as to think. Don't just listen to every little negative thought that crosses your mind and go, ooh, what if that happens? Or what it, you know, like, don't just automatically listen to or believe every thought that crosses your mind. Our thoughts don't come from us. Just a little hint and a clue. They don't come from us. They come from somewhere else. I'm not going to get into that right now. But our thoughts are things that we can pick and choose. Or decide not to have it all, but that would be enlightenment. If you don't have thoughts at all, then you just kind of live by instinct, and you can be filled with love, and then you're just operating out of pure love. But of course that takes ultimate letting go, you know, and that's only happened in about 3 to 5% of the population, so it's pretty rare. But that's the ultimate in love. Is being able to detach from thoughts completely, because then nothing can control you, and you're just like one with God, and you're doing God's will every moment. God meaning group of deities, you know, the universe, and you working together as one, Mother Nature, and you working together as one, Gaia. It's like you're just one with all. Anyway, I'm just trying to think if there are any other points I wanted to make about thoughts. Affirmations are extremely powerful, but you got to believe them. When I first started to say, I feel like I've won the lottery in every area of my life, I feel like the luckiest girl in the world, I didn't totally believe it. I didn't totally feel it. I made it up because I just thought that'd be a fun thing to believe. And then all these miracles started happening. And then, so then I could affirm it more because I believed it more. And then I could affirm it more because I believed it more. And then I could affirm it more because I believed it more. And now it's a downright fact. I believe it so wholeheartedly that you wouldn't believe the stuff happening in my life. It's incredible. And so don't, you know, but use affirmations. They really do work, but you got to believe them, and you got to stick to them for a while till you start to see them coming to fruition. Then you know, just don't be so like believe, don't believe, believe, don't believe, believe, don't believe. Try to stick to something that you'll believe that's positive. And once you achieve, and it's a part of your like core beliefs, and it's reset all the negative stuff, then you could set the bar a little bit higher, and a little bit higher, and a little bit higher. You could train yourself to slough everything off that's negative, and to not even be hardly worried about anything. Or if you are worried about something, you can course correct so easily just by going, oh, okay, I'll believe this instead. And some can say, you know, don't get your hopes up. And it's like, no, get your hopes up. Let your heart soar and think of the possibilities. That vibration is going to attract it. And everything is a placebo, you guys. So, I mean, some people can be kind of skeptical. Ooh, I was going to say this too. So I'm glad this has come up in bunk. So I had a mother and daughter here one time. I'm at the Lighthouse. And the daughter said, you know, the last time I was in here, I came in with my mom. And you gave a reading to both of us. And they were both like pretty incredible. And she says, but my mom crossed her arms the whole time and just was like, this is a line of bull, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to believe this. And she was really skeptical and stuff like that. And the daughter was like, I believe it wholeheartedly. Absolutely, completely, totally. I'm down with everything she said. And so like a year had gone by. None of her mom's stuff had happened. And all of her stuff had happened. And she's like, she says that she just looks at her mom and says, just believe. It's probably just waiting for you on the other side of that door. Just believe. It's going to happen. So that, and I've seen that a bit, you know, people with their arms crossed and stuff, like things don't turn out for them quite like those that are really open. And I've had the most incredible sessions with people who are just wide open, like, whatever, tell me anything, tell me whatever's coming, and I'm just open to hear whatever, you know, those types of people who are eager and excited and they're just like leaning forward and can't wait. Those are the guys who get the treasure. Those are the guys who get the gold. So our minds and our healing actually can be expedited by us believing. So believing and having faith, and I don't mean like fake belief, like really believing and being like, okay, yeah, I'm in, I'm sold. Be sold on something positive for once, you know, instead of just going ahead and believing anything negative that crosses your path. Try the opposite. Believe everything positive. Everything positive. If you have a choice between this and one's negative and the other's positive, believe the positive. Choose to believe it wholeheartedly. And you'll see how you can manifest. I mean, it's really miraculous what you can do. Anyway, with the power of belief. So I hope that helps you guys at least a little bit. And I know I was a little bit vague, but hopefully you'll get something out of that. And if you have more questions, you can always, like I said, you could call the Satori Show and we could sort it out on the air sometime as well. The number for that, and again, it's every Sunday. Mountain time, so you'll have to figure that out in your own zone. The number is 256-291-1191, and yeah, and we can talk about that or healing or anything under the subject on the Satori Show. So, all right, have yourself a beautiful day, week, month, And I'll talk to you the next time something like this occurs to me to make one of these. All right. Bye.